Behind your joy, your laughter, your untamed curiosity, and radiant optimism, your shadow lingers in the silence you try not to stay in too long. Your soul came into this life to seek truth, to chase meaning, to expand beyond borders both physical and spiritual. But your shadow tells you that if you slow down, the emptiness will catch up. That if you sit still, you might feel lost. That freedom only exists in motion. So you move fast, speak big, leap far. Not just because you crave experience, but because you fear what you'll find if you stay. Your shadow shows up as distraction disguised as adventure, as detachment masked as independence, as constant motion that looks like freedom but feels like escape. You don't run away from others, you run away from yourself. From the grief you haven't named, the limits you haven't accepted, the fears you haven't slowed down long enough to face. In relationships, your shadow shows up when commitment feels like a cage, when emotional depth feels too heavy for your wings. You want to be loved without being owned, to be chosen without being confined. But your fear of suffocation may lead you to push love away before it has a chance to root. You crave connection, but sometimes chase novelty instead. You speak of honesty, but avoid conflict that requires emotional confrontation. Your soul wants intimacy, but your shadow doesn't trust it yet. It equates closeness with control, vulnerability with entrapment, presence with pressure. But your healing begins when you realize that freedom isn't about distance. It's about being fully yourself, even when fully seen. Your daily life reflects your shadow when you keep your calendar full to avoid your inner stillness. When your routines are loose because structure feels like surrender. When your body is tired, but you book the next flight anyway. Your soul is learning that stillness is not stagnation. That discipline doesn't mean dullness. That rest can be just as liberating as risk. In work, your shadow can pull you toward paths that promise excitement but leave you unfulfilled. You may resist long-term planning or fear missing out if you commit to one path. You may leap before you check if it aligns. But your soul came here to teach, to explore, to inspire through wisdom, not just movement. When you ground your fire in purpose, your expansion becomes sustainable. Financially, your shadow may avoid planning, chase big wins, or struggle with consistency. You may fear the boredom of budgets or the weight of responsibility. But your soul is learning that abundance grows when you treat money as a resource. For expansion, not an escape. When you align your spending with your values instead of your whims. Manifestation works for you when it's rooted in faith, when your belief is uncheckable, when your joy fuels your vision. But your shadow may lose momentum when results don't arrive quickly. Your work is to keep the flame lit even when the wind blows. Spiritually, your shadow may chase philosophy over embodiment. You may read endlessly, seek teachers everywhere, but avoid applying what you learn to your own wounds. Your soul doesn't just want to know, it wants to live what you believe. To bring truth from the sky into your skin. To walk it, not just talk it. Socially, your shadow shows up when you hide behind humor. When you keep things light to avoid going deep. When you tell amazing stories but never share your own raw moments. People love being around you, but you may feel unseen. Because you only show them what you're sure they'll like. Your healing begins when you let someone sit with you in silence. When you stop turning everything into a lesson and allow yourself to just be. Your childhood may have taught you that joy made you lovable. That big energy made you valuable. That sadness was something to avoid, to joke away, to outrun. But now your soul is learning that your depth doesn't dim your light. It grounds it. Decision-making for you is often impulsive, driven by inspiration or gut instinct. But your shadow may confuse alignment with excitement. You are learning to pause before you leap, to check if your yes is a full-body yes or just a reflex against. Boredom, motivation comes from meaning, from possibility, from the thrill of what could be. But you must be careful not to chase the next thing just because you're afraid of staying with this one. Your aesthetic is bold, eclectic, free-spirited, and expansive. But your healing begins when your environment becomes not just expressive, but supportive. When it gives you space to feel, not just to perform. Your body thrives on movement, on nature, on rituals that allow breath and spaciousness. But it also needs stillness, grounding, and the safety to exhale without thinking about what's next. Forgiveness for you is natural, but your shadow may use it to skip over accountability. You may say it's fine just to move on. You may avoid your own missteps because regret feels like chains. But your healing begins when you pause to feel the full weight of what happened, then let it go without bypassing the truth. Sagittarius, your shadow speaks in restlessness and avoidance. But your truth lives in presence and purpose. When you stop running long enough to meet yourself, you discover that the freedom you've been searching for was never out there. It was always in the space you were too afraid to hold. I hope these words bring clarity and inspiration to your day, my dear stargazers. Remember, the stars guide, but you hold the power to shape your destiny. Now I'd love to hear from you. Did today's words resonate with you? Share your thoughts, experiences, or even your own cosmic insights in the comments below. Let's create a little community of starlight and support because together, we shine even brighter. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more daily cosmic guidance. Until next time, keep dreaming big and manifesting magic.